To achieve enduring influence, you have to first alter your audience's state of mind. Influence is not just about changing minds, it's also about changing behavior. The more people believe they can have an impact on your behavior, the more influence they will have. The power of unity lies in tailoring a message to focus on shared identities, values, and goals. We strive to be consistent with our past commitments and choices, even when faced with new information that contradicts them. The first moments of an interaction can determine how people perceive and respond to you in the long run. By offering limited availability, we can increase the perceived value and desirability of what we have to offer. We all fool ourselves from time to time in order to keep our thoughts and beliefs consistent with what we have already done or decided. A well-known principle of human behavior says that when we ask someone to do us a favor, we will be more successful if we provide a reason. People simply like to have reasons for what they do. Often we don't realize that our attitude towards something has been influenced by the number of times we have been exposed to it in the past. The way to love anything is to realize that it might be lost. People seem to be more motivated by the thought of losing something than by the thought of gaining something of equal value. Persons who go through a great deal of trouble or pain to attain something tend to value it more highly than persons who attain the same thing with a minimum of effort. Freedoms once granted will not be relinquished without a fight. When our freedom to have something is limited, the item becomes less available, and we experience an increased desire for it. However, we rarely recognize that psychological reactance has caused us to want the item more. All we know is that we want it. First, we seem to assume that if a lot of people are doing the same thing, they must know something we don't. In general, when we are unsure of ourselves, when the situation is unclear or ambiguous, when uncertainty reigns, we are most likely to look to and accept the actions of others as correct. Our best evidence of what people truly feel and believe comes less from their words than from their deeds. Without question, when people are uncertain, they are more likely to use others' actions to decide how they themselves should act. Once we realize that obedience to authority is mostly rewarding, it is easy to allow ourselves the convenience of automatic obedience. We all fool ourselves from time to time in order to keep our thoughts and beliefs consistent with what we have already done or decided. Once we have made a choice or taken a stand, we will encounter personal and interpersonal pressures to behave consistently with that commitment. Those pressures will cause us to respond in ways that justify our earlier decision. Psychologists have long understood the power of the consistency principle to direct human action. The second important thing to understand is that we, too, have our pre-programmed tapes, and although they usually work to our advantage, the trigger features that activate them can be used to dupe us into playing them at the wrong times. The principle of social proof says so. The greater the number of people who find any idea correct, the more the idea will be correct. When it comes to freedoms, it is more dangerous to have given for a while than never to have given at all. Once a person's self-image is altered, all sorts of subtle advantages become available to someone who wants to exploit that new image. When we are uncertain, we are willing to place an enormous amount of trust in the collective knowledge of the crowd. Deep inside is a sense of low personal worth that directs them to seek prestige, not from the generation or promotion of their own attainments, but from the generation or promotion of their associations with others of attainment. The correctness of an action was not adjudged by such considerations as apparent senselessness, harmfulness, injustice, or usual moral standards, but by the mere command of a higher authority.